Every 40 seconds, we lose somebody to suicide globally. And based on a 2017 report, 792 million people have lived with a mental health disorder. That's 1 in 10 people. Today, I'm really excited to have with me Wendy Wu, who is going to basically look at how can you look at voice-based biomarkers for addressing mental health. So Wendy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Poonacha. My pleasure to be here.
So Wendy, before we get started, do you want to just give a quick background of yourself?
Sure. In the past 15 years, actually, my job has nothing to do with the AI. My job has been an EQ coach. So I brought the biggest EQ organization, 6 Seconds, to China. So our mission is to help people to really understand, utilize, and also enjoy emotion. And most people don't know much about. And my job has been certifying the experts in leadership, coaching, and change and sales, just to really understand emotion. How can emotion help us to make better decisions, to create positive change? And since 5 years ago, I just feel like no matter how many people I coach, even in the past 15 years, I serve more than 1,000 people. I just feel like the impact is faster. It's not fast enough to capture the tragic news in mental health. So I decided I switched my focus, not only coaching the experts, but coaching AI. We found out among all the different AI, from visual, from video, from picture, and from game, actually voice is the most effective way to actually help us to understand emotions. So since 2005, my focus is coaching our AI team and our voice AI data to really capture what's behind the voice, what's the emotion, and what's our mental state. So fortunately, in the past 3 years, actually, our team has been achieved #1 in voice emotion recognition. And starting 2 months ago, we become #1 in voice biomarker, not only recognize emotion, but also depression and anxiety. So we are very anxious about what's happening around the world, but at the same time, we're excited to bring a different kind of solution to help people to recognize where we are, if we're okay, in a more private way, and then to seek the right solution for us.
How are the linguistic characteristics of somebody with depression different from them who is normal?
Actually, we don't look at the language itself. There is no particular language depressed people use, and not which differentiate from healthy people. We look at really so when we talk about biomarkers, it's cross-cultural and cross-age. It has nothing to do with particular words. It's a bit like lie detecting, and it's not about particular sentence you say, but it's about the emotion change, and it's part of frequency, your intonation, and it's those minor things change when you talk. So yeah, I think part of the
So language and dialect really don't have a bearing. So I was reading about your literature. It said you can detect 200 plus mental states. That's amazing, right?
Yes, yeah.
So I want to ask you another question. What does it, when you looking at detecting these states, what are your thoughts on privacy, data privacy? We live in a world where people are worried about in 6 seconds you can analyze data. But do you come across a situation that people worry about how is this information from an AI and ethics perspective, how will that be used? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. One beauty of a voice model is relatively small, so it depends on the partner. It can be actually where we're working with the SDK chip company. You can put it on local hardware, so it doesn't even need to go out of your phone. And also when we work school, hospital, we work it in the local server. So it's very flexible. Depends on who is initiating that project. And of course, based on the new data law, we can erase the data real time based on users' consent.
So I know a lot of companies now are really focusing on voice. Vocalis Health, Neurolex, Beyond Verbal. How do you see Wonder Tech, and what is your vision with how you are going to make mental health screening available for everybody in real time? What is your vision?
our differentiation is very simple. We're the only one focused on mental health. You can do a lot of things with voice biomarker. Yeah, a lot of people focus on mental health, but since COVID happened, they moved to COVID testing because more money there. But I did believe mental health is the most important thing, and it's our most precious competency as a human. And most people look at it as an issue. However, it's the assets as who we are, and our emotion is very important strength and competency we have. And I foresee with our focus and our #1 team in AI, we'll be able to help a lot of people to really deal with it, understand the emotion, and not only to manage it, but also to enjoy it like normal human being. And yeah, I think that's different core differentiation. Yeah.
Right. I think I was just preparing for this conversation with you. I was just reading that the cure rate for mild depression is 92%, and for moderate is about 30 to 40%. But 80% of depression doesn't get diagnosed till the later stages. So with things you're doing, with almost like having this phone guide, which looks at your voice in real time, we really can look at mental health globally, right? So everybody could be on a meditation app, could be a journaling app. If you're able to get a quick voice sample, the interventions could be really, really simple.
Exactly. The #1 issue here and I've seen globally is most people think we're strong and I can handle it when there's any emotion challenges. So people don't talk about this. So when they're diagnosed, it's most of the time is later stage, severe stage. So cure rate is very low. And with our early diagnosis, we can increase cure rate to 92%. And actually, you don't need to see a psychotherapist or you don't need to see a psychiatrist when it's early stage. You can provide you many practical tools you can help yourself to deal with early depression or emotional challenges.
Right.
So in my practice past 16 years, I found out most people's issue is I don't know if I'm okay. Most people don't understand they have emotion challenges or they're clinical depressed, which is like feeling anxious or I'm experiencing anxiety attack. And just by don't know, create more anxiety. So our tool will help people to know in a very private way. We found out when people have those kind of issue, they don't want to talk to their friends, they don't want to talk to family, they will never see a psychiatrist. But if you can find out in a private way, most people are willing to try and they like to do something about it. I think that's where we really made a fundamental breakthrough. With your mobile phone, you can do it.
And then also, I think what I love about what you're doing is that you truly are democratizing healthcare, mental health for the world. There are so many countries in the world where mental health is a stigma, it's a taboo. You cannot, you don't have enough psychiatrists, and if you have one, you can't even go to them. So I think listening to your conversation, how we can make it accessible to all, was truly inspirational. We have less than a minute. So do you have any parting comment or a vision you want to share with what you're doing for the world for mental health?
I think there are a lot of people are doing this. For example, like you, your Chopra Foundation, and Never Alone, and there are a lot of great solution and content. But what we do is help people to recognize where you are mentally and connect to the right content. And I think that's the biggest value we're bringing to the ecosystem. So they can connect to the right content they need, because not everybody needs a psychiatrist. Most people can't sleep. Most people have migraine, stomach ache, they can have baby. It's not because they are clinical depressed. It's emotional issue. And because what kind of emotion and what you really need to dive into, there are already a great solution around the world. And what we do is help you to recognize that moment, that time, what do you really need? And I think there is that's the biggest value we bring into.
Thank you, Wendy. I'm looking forward to collaborating with you at the Chopra Foundation and Never Alone, and also on the project I'm working with you with Dr. Srini Pillai on Circa, which is looking at anxiety.
Yes.
Now we can look at voice journaling and integrating with Wonder Tech. So I'm grateful for your time. And once again, thank you for supporting Never Alone.
Thank you.